Hello everybody, this is your boy the Almighty One coming to you with a video. Before I get right into it, this is pertaining to week 2 victory against the Minnesota Vikings in Philadelphia. Before I get right into it, please comment, like, share, subscribe, notification bell on top of the video. And don't forget to get the thumbs up because that will smash the likes and will get my videos to the all social media and YouTube land for the enjoyment pleasure. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Okay, we're gonna start with the inactiveness first. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Okay, these are the guys that have been inactive for a week 2 game against the Minnesota Vikings. AOK, defensive tackle. AOK, tight end. Moro Ojoro, defensive tackle. Tyler McKee, quarterback. And Tyler Steen, offensive tackle. Those are the guys that were inactive. Okay, these are the guys that are injured. James Bradbury, cornerback with a concussion, he's questionable. He was injured in week 1. Reed Blankenship, safety, he had a rib injury. He was injured in week 1's game, and these are the guys that are questionable prior to last night's games. Avante Maddox, shoulder questionable. Quez Watkins, wide receiver, hamstring questionable, and Boston Scott, running back, concussion. He's questionable going into week 3 game coming against Tampa Bay. And here are the guys that are on the injured, on the IR list. N'Kobe Dean, foot injury. I guess that his name is R. Johnson, offensive tackle, undisclosed injury. And Sean Bradley, linebacker, season-ending Achilles injury. Okay, those are your Eagles inactives and injury. So then go ahead and now get into the statistics of last night's game. Here we go. Week 2, quarterback Jalen Hurts. 18-23, 193 yards, a touchdown, 1 INT, 98. His rating was 98.0. Rushing, oh man. DeAndre Swift, 28 carries, 175 yards. 1 touchdown, average 6.3. His long was 43. Boston Scott, before the injury, 5 carries, 40 yards, 8.0 average, and long was 18. Jalen Hurts had 12 for 35, 2.9. His long was 8. He scored 2 on the ground, and those were your red zone scores that he had. And Rashad Penny, 3 for 9 yards, 3.0 average. His long was 6. Okay, receiving. Now here's what we've been waiting for quite some time. Devonta Smith had 4 catches for 131 yards, 1 touchdown. Average was 32.8. His long was 63. That was a 63-yard bomb that led to the end zone touchdown. AJ Brown, 4 catches, 29 yards, a 7.3 average, 12 with the long. Dallas Goddard had 6 for 22 yards, 3.7 average, 9 with the long. And DeAndre Swift, 3 receptions for 6 yards, 2.0. His long was 5. And Rashad Pitt had 1 for 5, 5.0, 5 with the long. Okay, now we're getting to defense. Cunningham, tackles 8, assists 3, sacks 0, no interceptions, no forced fumble. Job had 6 tackles, 1 assist. Trevon Edmonds, Terrell Edmonds is his name. He had 6, 1. He had a forced fumble. Darius Slay had 6, 1. Mario Goodwich had 4, 1. Nicholas Murrow had 3. No assists, no sacks, no interceptions, no forced fumble. Here we go. Continue. Jalen Carter, he was blocked most of the game, which was no surprise. He had only 2. He only had 2 TOTs, no assists, no sacks, no interceptions, no forced fumble. Maddox before the injury had 2, 1 assist, no sacks, no interceptions, but he had a forced fumble. Evans had 2 TOTs, no assists, no sacks, no interceptions, but he had a forced fumble. Davis, wow, Jordan Davis is cutting up. The man had 2 tackles, 1 assist, and he had a sack. Fletcher Cox had 1 tackle, 1 assist, and Williams had 1 tackle, no assist, no sack, no interception, no forced fumble. And Josh Sweat, the Sweat man, had 1 tackle, no assist. He had 1 sack and 1 forced fumble. Okay, kick returns. We went no kick returns. Wow, and that's kind of strange because all this is special teams. Punt return. Brent Covey had 1 return, 2 yards, 2.0 was the average, and long with 2, no touchdowns. Okay, kicking. Jay Elliott, field goals, 2 for 3. He did miss 1. Average was 28.3. He missed 2 altogether this season. I hope that's all he misses for this year. His long was 61. He had no blocks, and he was 4 for 4 on extra points. Punting. I'm trying to figure out who the punting was. Oh yeah, Aaron Sapers was the punting. He had 4 TOTs, 150 yards. His average was 37.5. Long 44, no touchbacks, and he had 2 inside the 20. Okay, now see, we got that out the way. Then we need to talk about. The Eagles need to get better in some kind of way. Excuse me. The Eagles need to get better in some kind of way, working with Jalen Hurts, because this man got sacked 4 times in this game. He been sacked 7 times the entire season, and something needs to be done because it ain't gotten to a point where these sacks are beginning to be irregular. Lane Johnson, the guy who's supposed to be the man to not allow a sack, has allowed a sack last week against the New England Patriots, against that confusing zone defenses. And this week against the Vikings, he didn't allow no sack, but he did allow a lot of pressures. So this offensive line needs to get this situation together because this is getting out of control. And the defensive line is still continuing to carry this group, but teams are still finding ways to get the ball over the middle because Minnesota has found the middle of the field more often than once in this game. Kirk Cousins threw for over 300 yards in this defense. This is the second time we have allowed a quarterback to throw for over 300 yards altogether. So 700 yards passing. And that's more like an 80% average of quarterbacks completing their passes. And so that needs to be worked out these next 10 days because some things need to change. The blocking scheme needs to get a whole lot better, because Hurts is getting hit too many times. He getting pressured, he getting hit. It's like teams are finding ways to get the pressure on Hurts, all because of this offense that they're running. They need to find some way to get Hurts on the center, because see, when you're on the center like that, the sack total decreases. It decreases a whole lot. The same thing teams have done to Wentz, they're doing to Hurts. They find a way to get pressure up the middle, because see, the middle of the offensive line is where the pressures are actually occurring. And if you get pressure up the middle, that's forcing your blocking scheme to block the middle. And so that lead your players, they lead your right tackles, and probably one guard, either left or right, to double team on a player. And so that leads 2 guys to come up the A and B gap to get to the quarterback. And then if that ain't working, they're blocking correct scheme, but teams are sending more than four down linemen. It's like one guy getting into the backfield to hit the quarterback or the running game to cancel plays. I'm watching this over and over and over again in the New England game and in the Minnesota game that they reached this past last night. Something needs to change. I mean, they need to figure out some way to protect Hurts a whole lot better. And last night was pretty good running the football. So the Eagles have to get back to what they do best, and they run the football, because now it's time to go back to basics. I think if they go back to running the running game the rest of the way, that will limit the pressure of Hurts getting tackled and getting hit and getting sacked in the backfield. The more you run the football, the more the pass rush is neutralized, because teams focus more on the run, and then that leads the safety to draw up. When the safeties come up, that leaves the back end of the back end of this side of the field wide open for a wide receiver or tight end to run, to find an open field, get the ball, and sprint for so many yards or for the score. I'm seeing a repeat performance, and the repeat performance needs to stop. Like I elaborated earlier in the video, they need to find a way to protect Hurts. I don't know how many times I can reiterate that. Maybe they need to bring a fifth lineman. A sixth lineman to mass protection, because see, mass protection, you're only leaving only one player. There are three players on the field. On the field, you're only leaving two players on the field when you mass protect. So that needs to change. It's where if they got the mass protect, then do it. All I know is if Hurts keep getting hit in the backfield, he ain't gonna last long. He's not gonna last the entire 17-game season. And then you gotta base your play on Tanner McKee. And Tanner McKee's been inactive these last 2 games. So at some point in time, Hurts is gonna have to get. They're going to figure out some way to get Hurts better protection by running the football, and the wide receiver need to get open, because Devontae Smith been open for 175 yards in this game. 175, 171, so long I've been there. I forgot what the stat was. I stacked it on the thing. Hold on for me. Let me see how many yards he had. Like I said, I said in this video what it was. He had 131 yards. He the only receiver to break out with 100 yards to start the season. You know what I'm saying? And so now the skirmish that happened on the sideline with AJ Brown and Hurts, I'm just glad it didn't lead to anything serious, because don't get me wrong, he do want the ball, but teams are finding ways to cover AJ Brown. So that makes it really hard to get the ball to him, and you think he will understand that. So, and they also said that he wasn't in the locker room, so that means that he probably was the first to get to the locker room, get his clothes, and get out. They said he was nowhere in the locker room to be seen. So, wow, I can imagine that. I mean, don't get me wrong, this victory was nice, but it wasn't nice enough, because see, even though we scored over 30-some points, we still allowed Minnesota to stay in the game. The same thing we did with the New England Patriots. We're allowing teams to stay in the game, and the reason why is when the back end of your defense is not able to cover the middle, like they had these last 2 games, that could be a problem, because then once you get the ball over the middle of the field, what that does is sustain drives and it chunks of yardage. And so that itself is a problem, because teams stay in the game like that. See, you can't depend on your 4th down line all the time. You can't depend on them a lot, because the teams will get the ball out in a hurry, and there will be a problem going forward. So that needs to change right away. It really does. And the noise in the background, drown out the best way you can possible, because I'm trying to talk over it. And if you can't hear me, turn your volume up and you'll hear what I'm saying. But overall, things need to change with the Philadelphia Eagles. 2-0, I don't mind the 2-0, but it's how we got the 2-0. We've been holding off teams the best way we can possible, and that's a struggle. That's why you got so many players on the injury list, because teams or players are playing too hard to hurt themselves. Sometimes you can overdo yourself so long to a point where you try your best to make a tackle or try your best to protect yourself, but you can't protect yourself when you're trying your best to stop a play. And most of the guys that's on the injury list are on defense, and that's a problem. When you're, because Reed Blankenship, now he should be back next season. He should be back after next week, because he get a 10-game rest, so he should be back. But it's gonna be The other safety problem is gonna be the issue because Avonte Maddox, he's the zone safety and he also plays nickel cornerback. That could be a big blow right there. So getting some players back is gonna be good, but the Eagles going to figure out some way to stop the teams for getting the ball over the middle. They got to figure out a way because the teams are launching the ball over the middle, and that's how they are sustaining drives, and that's how they're staying in the game, and that is an issue. So I'm hoping these next 10 games, the Eagles are able to get these issues taken care of. The issues is the back end of your defense. They need to solve that problem fast. They need to get some players back on defense. Like I said, Brian Johnson needs to find a way to protect Hurts a whole lot better because the guy has been sacked 7 times in this game. And that's 7 or 8 times. I'm not saying how many times it was. I know he got sacked 4 times in last night's game. And he got 3 or 4 in last week's game. That's too many sacks on a player. They need to figure out some way to protect him better. They really need to. Defense. The side need to find a way to bring more pressure, not jump with the front 4. He need to add more blitzing to his packages to get to the quarterback to throw some of these opposing quarterbacks off their rhythm. They need to be timely blitzes right there. Those are your 4. They need to figure out what they're going to do the next 10 games because we got too many guys on. We got too many guys injured. They need to call a better play to protect Hurts. They need to fix the defense, get these guys off injury reserve, get these guys off the injury list and get them healthy, and call better defensive schemes. Those are the 4 they need to work on the next 10 games because if not, teams are going to sustain drives. We're going to lose games like that with teams throwing ball over the middle of the defense. That is a problem. That boy from New England, what was his name? Matthews, whatever his name was, he had a 300-yard passing game, and Kirk Cousins had 300-yard passing game. We allowed players to complete. He had 200-yard passing, 4 touchdowns. The boy Matthews had 3 touchdown passes. That's not good. That is not good. Something needs to change. They really need to change because if not, we're going to lose games, and we are already expected to return to the Super Bowl this year. But if they keep playing the way they're playing and the bad defensive and offensive play calls are going to continue to happen, we're going to lose games and we're not going to make it back to the Super Bowl. That could be an issue. So anyway, with that being said, all in a nutshell, you guys enjoy your Friday. Definitely want to enjoy mine or try to enjoy mine and try to get over that horrible loss, that horrible week 1 loss, and that subpar win against the Minnesota Vikings. All right, I'm out of here, y'all, and enjoy your Friday, like I said. Peace out.